what we're going to do next is start to look at some other, specialty interior illumination methods. Okay, so what we're going to need to do is kind of get into our camera angle that's going to be present on our actual building. So I'm going to switch to my interior view. So here in neighbor, I'm going to say interior A, which I forgot I moved my model. So let me reset that. Whoops.
What view are you on? Like, do you have your thing been shaded? Oh, yeah.
Right now I'm just in my shaded viewport, yes. Okay, so this is the view that I'm going to work with, and if I wanted to just check out my translucencies, I can go to the rendered viewport, but it looks like, oh, that's right, I have all these weird materials that aren't showing properly. Maybe I should just do a quick draft render so I can just kind of understand, or I could look at it on fire, but down here in the preview menu, see how I have a lot of glass down there in the preview? What I want to do here in this exercise is I want to start to look at this with a little bit less translucency, right? And then I'm going to accent some of the walls and spaces with some illumination. So first and foremost, I'm going to change, let's see, I've got white, let's see, what do I have? White plastic I have set to my planes? Yeah, that's right. All right, so I'm going to take my white plastic and I'm going to put it also on the 50% opacity ones. Again, we're not doing custom materials yet, guys. We're just doing plastic, glass, that's it. So here's what I have in my model. I'm going to go back to my shaded viewport. So I've got these surfaces here that are very, very close to one another, and what I want to start to do is illuminate them, from some particular element. I also have these kind of roof elements that I can sort of use some emissive materials to accentuate, and so that's going to be a part of it too. So I'm going to put some wall washes on there. What is this one? Is this a that's a 15%, isn't it? So that's totally translucent, isn't it? Darn. Yeah, that's okay. All right. Anyway. Do I want that? Yeah, I want that. Okay. So these beams that I put in, these are the ones that are, I think I labeled as 80% grays. They're really thin. They're tiny. The way that I want them to function is I want them to be lights. Okay, I'm just throwing this out there as sort of I'm mixing in some design ideas with you. Okay, so I need these to be lights, and so the fast way for me to do that is to basically grab the underside of this light if I'm going to have it wash down or wash up. Doesn't matter which way you want to go with it, and just Control Shift and click that bottom surface. Then you can Alt and kind of yank this one down a notch and pull it up as close as you need to get it to make it kind of a believable continuous surface. It doesn't have to be perfect. And we're also going to need to change the quality of light that we're producing here. So I'm going to create another layer for a second light setting. So new layer, light B, and I will place that surface on light B. Let's make these green. Okay, so I've got a green one there. That's my light B. And I'll do the same thing on this surface. Control Shift, click, surface, got it. Where's my gumball? It's misplaced. Alt, minus 1 inch. And then grab that and change it to the proper layer. All right. Now, the other thing that we can do is create sort of like an uplight off of some of the ceiling elements as well. Okay, and again, guys, I'm just throwing these things out here. I'm going to see how they look, play with the settings. We're going to actually design it when we get into the model, but I'm going to need a light C, so I'll do a new layer, light C. Make this one blue. And with this one, I'm just going to take these two opaque surfaces. I'm going to take the top surface and of that one, and the top surface of, not that, top surface of that one, top surface of that one, Alt, click on that, and then say I'm going to bump it up 1 inch. So there's my surface, and then move those onto light C. Now we're at a point where, am I losing you, Yvonne?
Yeah, totally.
All right, so I haven't done anything yet.
Oh, okay.
All I've done is duplicate surfaces to put lights on it.
Okay.
I'm moving fast, but you know how to do that, right? Like you just
Oh, yeah.
select a surface and then you hit Alt on the gumball and it pulls another surface off a little bit. That's all I've done.
Okay.
Don't be concerned. All right, so I created these 4 light surfaces to create 2 different other light types. So I just need to now create those 2 lights. So I'm going to do an emitter number 2, so new emitter. This one is for the wall wash. That's going to kind of go down the wall. So it might need to be less intense. So why would it need to be less intense? This one I'm actually asking you guys.
So like the rays don't hit it. That
It's just
Kind of.
just illuminating the surface that it's on, or that it's next to.
Yeah, it's illuminating the surface that it's next to. The rays are going to be hitting it with a lot of intensity. So we can turn the intensity down a little bit on this one. So let's change this to like an emitter 2 meter. And with this one, I'm actually going to, let's refresh that. So emitter 2 meter, I'm going to switch this to maybe something just like a 200 watt. And let's see how that light goes there. But on this one, I'm also going to increase the efficacy quite a bit. So I'm going to make that 50 and see how much light that lets through. So see how this doesn't have a very intense source? That's very important. The source is not super intense, but the spread is quite large. I could even bump this up a little more and see how that looks. That's getting a little too intense. So I'll probably stick with 50 for now to test it. Okay, so that one's set. That's emitter 2. I'll do another one for my uplights. It probably will have similar properties, but it does have a little bit of a distance to carry in order to reflect on surfaces above. So I'm kind of seeing that here, right? It's sitting right there. You've got a good 2, 3, 4 feet to go before it hits that upper surface. So I'll do a new emitter. And on this one, let's switch this to a 2 meter. And let's look at maybe going up to a couple hundred watts, 400 maybe. And so I'm thinking, guys, this is kind of my thought process here, right? I'm thinking that if that's about 4 feet away, that it's going to fall somewhere in this range. And I want that to receive light. So when I increase the efficacy, I want that area that's about 3/4 of the way down there to get some good light. So I'll switch this to like a 35, I guess I'll start with. Maybe a little more, so let's go to a 45. Something like that. Kind of fills it up with a pretty smooth gray. I'll start there. I might have to increase it. So let me ask you this. Are you guys at least conceptually following what I'm doing? The logic, the way I'm thinking through how to do this? Okay. So I'm going to take emitter 2, I'm going to put it on light B, and I'm going to take emitter 3, I'm going to put it on light C. Then I'll get back down into my space. Just like this. And I suppose I'll just jump right into it and do a draft render. I don't think I have any other settings to... Oh, my surface direction. I forgot to check that. So we're probably going to see an error here with one or both of them. Ooh, that's really intense. Well, anyway, I'll let it run for a moment and then we'll just take a look at it and discuss it. Alright, well, I'm actually going to flip those normals real fast to double check these, because that wasn't giving me any result to really analyze. So let me check these normals. They're going up, but you guys should be aware that this surface here was, yeah, it was glass. So I'm going to switch this onto the 100% opacity layer. Should give us something to react to. And then here, these ones I want to test their direction. They're actually going down. Interesting. That didn't give me any result. Well, so guys, I think what I want to do in this case, because the directions were proper, I didn't really see what I wanted to see. One of the things you can do to give yourself a preliminary test if you don't want to go directly to intensity is you can change your time of day. Pretty much you can change it to almost nighttime. So I'm going to go back into environment, location and time. And I'm currently set to very early, 7:30. Wow, I thought it was later. Use sun, physical sky, environment, San Diego. Where's my sun? It's there. It's still kind of high in the sky, so let me go down even lower. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to do another draft with these settings, and we're going to really look at this, hopefully, in a moment. Oops. Is that my new one? Okay, so I just let it run for a little bit, and I already can tell that the settings just don't have enough power for it to show the way I want it to. So let me zoom in real quick so you can kind of see. These emitters, while they were set to even a 2-meter distance, just don't have what it takes. So I'm going to go through a process here in the next segment, and I'll change those settings, and then I'm going to re-render it and do one that has where I can show you these sliders, the multi-light sliders, and how they work.